तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। 25th verse. मनः प्रत्यक्चित्ते सविधमवधायात्तमरुतः प्रहृष्यद्रोमाणः प्रमदसलिलोत्सङ्गितदृशः यदालोक्याह्लादं हृदयेव निमज्जामृतमये दधत्यन्तस्तत्त्वं किमपि यमिनस्तत्किल भवान्. In the morning session we had seen one aspect of Bhagavan's nature as karma phala data. Once an action is done, Bhagavan makes sure that result comes to the right doer. That is his nature, that is his role. Understanding that God is a living reality. Just like that employer who was keeping an eye on the action of the employee, the emotion, attitude of the employee created an impression on the mind of the employer. Like that, every action of a Jiva leaves an impression on God's mind. And when Bhagavan is pleased, whatever he gives to the devotee, it is much more than what he has asked for. Keeping this in mind, Pushpadantacharya says, devotees engage in doing good actions. What is there in our hand is action. What is there in Bhagavan's hand is results. Let him do his work, we have to do our work. Next verse was Daksha's sacrifice. Even though he was one of the best performers, the priests were all devatas, Brahmaji was sitting in audience, still that yajna got destroyed because he did it without faith. Whatever is done without faith does not yield any result. Whatever is done with faith, even if there are limitations in the action, still it gives results. That was highlighted through the story of Yaksha. Then came a very unique Leela where the sun gets attracted by the dawn. The reddish tinge which is there, sun gets attracted. And when he goes after that reddish tinge, Bhagavan Shiva chases sun god and he flies up in the sky to become Mrugashira Nakshatra. Bhagavan chases him as Ardra Nakshatra. The symbolic meaning was, whenever creation happens, if we are not alert, we can get deluded by our own creation. We can get attached by our own creation. That was highlighted to this particular Leela. Then came the verse when it was said, Parvati ji, in spite of seeing Kamadeva getting burnt right in front of her eyes, if she thinks Bhagavan is infatuated because he has given her half of his body, Pushpadantacharya said, the one who is emotional, for certain, gets deluded. Means clarity of thinking doesn't come to a person who is clouded with emotions. There another part we had seen was of avidya lesha. For a jnani, the lifestyle of a jnani, the way that they live, that is not to be judged or emulated. That was highlighted through that particular Leela. And the last one, 24th verse, was talking about the strange form of Lord Shiva. He lives in cremation ground, sports in cremation ground, wears bhasma, garland made of skulls. All these things are there. Looks very inauspicious for the one who has desires, but is a most auspicious form for the desireless one. That is Bhagavan Shiva. Discussions of Vairagya sound very inauspicious to the one who has desires. But one who wants to overcome desire, to that person, discussion of Vairagya is like nectar. Now, 25th verse is a technique of meditation. 25th verse is talking about inquiring into who am I. In Vedanta it is called as Tvam Pada Vichara. Tvam Pada Vichara, you keep going within. That journey is the inward journey. 26th verse is talking about Tat Pada Vichara. Tat Pada Vichara means looking upon this whole creation as consciousness. Looking upon this whole creation as something which has emerged from consciousness. When you go within, the journey will culminate in consciousness. When we go within, the innermost essence of our personality is consciousness. When you seek outside, we will realize the substratum of this universe is consciousness. Now, we will not realize it on our own. When we study it in the light of Upanishads, Upanishads will tell us that creation has come from consciousness. Then comes Mahavakya, the identity revealing statement, which says that consciousness which is substratum of creation is the same consciousness which is witness of thoughts. That consciousness which is substratum of creation is the same consciousness which is witness of thoughts. That is the Mahavakya, that is 27th verse. So if you ask, is there Vedanta in Shiva Mahimnah Stotram? It says several places, but this is one distinct set of verses which is talking about Advaita Vedanta. But the way it is presented is very poetic. See the 25th verse. Yogis, the ones with self-control, following the instructions of the scriptures, having controlled the breath and having placed the mind in the self, have realized some indescribable truth. Thrilled with joy, eyes filled with tears, as though taking a dip in a lake full of bliss, they revel in that inner joy. O Lord Shiva, you are indeed that unconditional bliss. Now this is which nature of Bhagavan out of the three that we saw? Nirguna Nirakara, Saguna Nirakara, Saguna Sakara. Which one is this one? Nirguna Nirakara. Unconditioned bliss means no conditioning, that pure consciousness, that is the essential nature of God. How do they turn within? Where did they start? First thing they started was, they all became yogis. The word for yogi here is yaminaha. Yaminaha means what, One who follows yamas. One who follows all the yamas, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha. All these yamas the one who follows. Satya means truthfulness. Asteya means non-stealing, not keeping anything which doesn't belong to us. Asteya means that. First one is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-injury. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya means celibacy, and Aparigraha. Aparigraha also means not hoarding more than what we need. Asteya means not stealing. Aparigraha means not hoarding. This is the first step, in simple words, living an ethical life. The first step to reach Bhagavan is living a dharmic life that they are accomplishing. Then what do? Following the instruction of scriptures, they try to turn the mind within. Now, what is the instruction of scripture to quieten the mind? Instruction of scripture is repetition and detachment. Bhagavan Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyasa and Vairagya. See, generally our complaint is, mind doesn't settle down, mind doesn't become calm. Our scriptures say there is a technique. Unless you apply that technique, you will struggle very hard. See, when you have a flat tire, to change the tire, there is a technique. You have to put that jack inside and take it up. Now, if somebody tries to lift it with his hand, is somehow or the other, I'll lift it, you come and change the tire. He said, that will not work. Sometimes our effort to control the mind is like that. Somehow or the other, we want to control it. Here it is said, follow the instruction of scriptures. What is the instruction of scripture? First one is repetition. As and when mind goes out, bring it back. As and when, at least in the seat of meditation, whenever it goes out, repeating this practice. Mind is a victim of habits. Mind is something which can be molded by repetition. All erroneous things which have gotten inside because of repetition only. We see some random thing once, impression doesn't form of that object. Only when we see it repeatedly, keep repeating in our mind, impression gets strengthened. Just as it happens for erroneous things, same technique we should use for good things also. So this pulling the mind back, it will work only when I repeat it. So much so that a stage should come where I don't need to consciously pull it back. The example given is of a lion in a cage. First time when that lion is brought in there, it's so ferocious. But it is trained that this door will remain closed. No matter what you do, you cannot come out of this door. And repeatedly, when it is trained like that, even if you leave the door open, it will not come out. They say our mind has to be trained in that way, where effortlessly it stays away from going towards wrong things. This is a result of just repetition. Second facet of controlling the mind is detachment. Detachment is, I myself should understand the limitations of that place where my mind is going. Only when I understand the detachment, only when I understand the limitation, will I become detached towards that particular object. Internally, if we don't have that conviction yet, then we won't feel the need to withdraw the mind. Generally, this is what happens with us. In part, we think this object is nice. In part, we want to pull it back, pull the mind back. So there is a tug of war. Object is pulling from its side. I am trying to pulling from my side. So here it is said, we should highlight the limitations. whatever shortcomings are there in objects, constantly repeating them, reminding ourselves. With this, mind will get quietened. Great solution for meditation. Even in Mandukya Karika, the same method is given. How do you quieten this mind down? Through Abhyasa and Vairagya. By knowing the limitations and through repetition. Then what have they done? They have controlled their breath. Just by controlling the breath, they are able to quieten the mind. Breath and mind, they are like mirror and the coating. Have you seen mirror? On one side you can see the face. But if you feel, I am seeing my face on this side, right? Why is the other side needed? Try to scrape it off. You see, the image which is seen here will also go away. How they are interconnected, the coating behind and the mirror. Like that, breathing, breath and mind is interconnected. You hold on to one, other also comes along with it. So they are controlling their mind by regulating the breath. Then, having placed the mind in the self, they have realized some indescribable truth. Whenever this mind turns inwards and it has negated all drishya, everything which is seen, what remains after negating all the seen, that is something indescribable. You say, how did it look? Was it tall? Was it short? You say, you cannot describe it. Which color was it? Was it yellow? Was it blue? Some light? You say, it didn't have any attributes. That indescribable truth, they have realized. And whenever mind becomes quiet, what is the expression? Thrilled with joy, eyes filled with tears. You know, we have spent several lives with an agitated mind. In this life, of course, but several janmas we have spent not appreciating what is a quiet mind. Whenever that glimpse comes, you see, the expression of that glimpse is tears of joy. Tears can come when there is sorrow, or they can come when there is bliss. This is the bliss one. Means he has not only heard, but he has sat down and tried to practice this. And what is their feeling? They feel as though they are drowning in that ocean of bliss. They are reveling in that ocean of bliss. None of these conditionings of body and mind are bothering them anymore. It has as though disappeared. That unconditioned bliss, you are. O Lord Shiva, you are that unconditioned bliss. Means Bhagavan is made a very big, in Hindi they say sajish. How do you translate it in English? Conspiracy. Conspiracy. He created this whole world and went inside and hid himself, knowing for sure that we will search him everywhere but not look within. Ramana Maharshi says this in Saddarshanam. Having illumined the mind, God went and hid behind the mind. And this sadhaka searches everywhere except for this inner bliss. It is just like, some freedom fighters, those who had their own offices and they would do something for the nation, they had to do it secretly. Whenever these Britishers would come and raid the office, the way to protect their secret documents was to keep it on the table. Because they would search all the lockers, all the places where there are locks, but they will not search on the table. Such an important document, who lives on the table? Means those things which are most obvious, those can be missed. It is just like saying, what do you see here? If I show this, mostly we will say we see hand. But we see light plus hand. Whatever is ever present and all pervading, that thing is missed. Like that, every experience is illumined by consciousness, but our attention is on experience, not on the illuminator of that experience. The one who is the illuminator, that is Bhagavan Shiva. O Lord, you are that particular or that blissful self. Now the next one is about creation. 8 different murtis of Bhagavan Shiva are given. Tvamarkastvam Somaha, Tvamasi Pavanastvam Hutavaha, Tvamarkastvam Somaha, Tvamasi Pavanastvam Hutavaha, Tvamapastvam Vyoma, Tvamudharaniratma Tvamiti cha, Tvamapastvam Vyoma, Tvamudharaniratma Tvamiti cha, Parichinnam Tvayi parinata bibhratu giram, Parichinnam Tvayi parinata bibhratu giram, Na vidmastattvam Vayamihatu yattvam na bhavasi, Na vidmastattvam Vayamihatu yattvam na bhavasi, Tvamarkastvam Somaha, different murtis, 8 different forms of Bhagavan as this creation. You are the sun, you are the moon, you are the air, you are fire, you are water, you are space, you are the earth, and you are the self. In this way, wise people speak about you using limited words. We, on the other hand, don't know of any object that you are not. Now, every murti is a vibhuti of the Lord. And there is a reason why that particular murti is called as Bhagavan. So look at the first one. First murti is Sun God. Why is Sun called as Bhagavan? Sun is called as Bhagavan because Sun God determines Kala. He determines time. Day and night, seasons, entire Panchanga. The one who rules all of that is Surya Bhagavan. Kala Nirnaya, one who does, is Sun God. There is a calendar, right? Kala Nirnaya. The one who determines all the major events, that is Sun God. Based on the sun's position, the entire Kala is determined. Even if you look at it from energy standpoint, major energy source is the sun. Solar energy, of course, directly. Somebody might say, what about fossil energy? Is that sun or not? The plant which has become that fossil survived on sunlight only. And that energy is now compressed, which again becomes available to us as energy. Means, in general, the whole world runs with the energy from the sun. The one who nourishes entire world, that is Bhagavan. So sun here is called as Bhagavan. Second murti is moon. Moon represents our mind. Just like moon reflects sunlight, our mind reflects light of consciousness. Moon reflects sunlight, mind reflects light of consciousness. All our circadian rhythms, textures of the mind, everything is governed by moon. That's why they say Purnima day. That day it is very chaotic. Mind is more agitated. I mean, simple reason is high tide and low tide is caused because of phases of the moon. And our body composition is 70% water. So naturally, effect of planets, movement of planets have some effect on our mind. When we were in Sandeepany, we were told, Purnima day, be in Maunam. There are greater chances of getting into conflicts. Because mind is agitated, you have to keep it calm. So second one is moon. Moon is God. Means everything, all the physical rhythm is governed by moon. What you call as biological clock, circadian rhythm. All of that has an impact from the moon. Third one is wind. Wind represents prana. Prana enlivens this body. That is why wind is called as God. Wind is one of the murti of Bhagavan. The main point here is, we all see these elements every day. We see sun, we see moon, we see wind. But this bhavana should come that this is Lord Shiva. That is the main point here. Just like, as far as individual is concerned, there is pure consciousness, and that consciousness alone becomes mind, alone becomes ego, alone becomes body. In the same way, that same consciousness has become sun, moon, wind, and so on. So when I look at body, my attention is not on consciousness. I feel body is independent, consciousness is not even in sight. In the same way, when I look at all these elements of nature, attention is not on Bhagavan. So whenever Tat Pada Vichara is pointed out, it is to show that all these elements that we are seeing, they can be worshipped, they should be worshipped as God. Then the fourth one is fire. Why is fire called as God? It is said, in all the rituals, especially in yajnas, when we offer oblations, Agni is the Devata who takes everything and distributes it precisely to whichever Devata has to receive that offering. So the one who does this work of distributing all the things which are received in yajna, that is Agni Devata. That is why it is getting the title of Bhagavan. Agni is called as Bhagavan. That is the fourth Murti of Bhagavan Shiva. Fifth one is water. Why is water called as God? Water in Sanskrit is called as up or apaha. Apaha or up is water. But that water also symbolizes karma. That's why any karma you do, first thing you need is water to do sankalpa. So water is called as karma. Water symbolizes karma. That is why here it is represented as Bhagavan. Whichever karma is happening anywhere, that is symbolized by this water. We might not use water, but the traditional way of looking at it is water symbolizes all karmas. Spiritual karmas, of course, we use that water and from there we start doing our sankalpa. Taponji Maharaj, he would play with this word water. He would say, some people worship Narakara Brahma. Narakara means Brahman in the form of a Nara, as a person. And he would say, some people worship Nirakara Brahma. Nirakara Brahma means formless Brahman. He would say, but I offer my salutations to Nirakara Brahma. Nirakara means Gangaji, water. Brahman in the form of water, I worship my salutations to. The beauty is, what is ordinary, in that ordinary thing, something extraordinary is seen. And Taponji Maharaj was a master in this. If you read his book Ishvara Darshanam, so beautifully he will describe the scenery in the Himalayas. But right in the next paragraph, he will switch to some Upanishad mantra. And he will explain that whole scene that you are seeing there from the standpoint of Advaita Vedanta. And these are Mahatmas who actually live what is said in scriptures. Then sixth one is space, Vyoma. Vyoma means space. Space is Lord Shiva, one of the Murti of Lord Shiva. Bhagavan accommodates everybody. Just like space accommodates everything. In spite of accommodating everybody, he remains untouched. Just like space remains untouched by whatever it is accommodating. If you put lot of smoke into the room, air will get polluted, not space. So how this space remains unaffected, like that, Bhagavan remains unaffected. So space is called as Brahma. Space is called as Bhagavan. There is a small trivia here. Have you all heard Bam Bam Bole?
Yes.
What is the meaning of Bam Bam? Actually, it is Vyoma Vyoma. That Vyoma became Bama. Apabhramsha it is. Bhagavan Shiva, who is all pervading like space, that Vyoma Vyoma became Bama Bama. So Bam Bam Bole. Apabhramsha Shabda of Vyoma. Apabhramsha means words got mixed up here and there. Then the seventh Murti of Bhagavan Shiva is earth. Earth is one element which holds everything together. Dharana Shakti, that is there in Mother Earth. Just like Bhagavan holds this whole universe together, like that earth holds all jivas together. Bhagavan is called as Setu. Vishnu Sahasranama we just chanted, right? Achara prabhavo dharmaha, dharmasya prabhurachyutah, means the one who protects all those who are dharmikas. That responsibility is on Bhagavan. He is the bridge, the protector of the bridge. What is that bridge? Dharma. Ethical life, values. Whoever walks on that bridge, to protect them while they are walking, that is Bhagavan's responsibility. And the last one is Atma. Atma means the self. Every element has the self, which is the substratum of that element. We see the earth. You see that earth has consciousness as its substratum, Atma as its substratum. Next, Mahavakya will tell us that Atma is the same Atma which is illumining thoughts. If you are a Vedanta student, this is a very beautiful point. The witness of earth is a witness of thought. Witness of earth is witness of thought. It is that same consciousness which is witnessing these thoughts, and earth also is a thought. And it is the same consciousness which is illumining that thought. Now the next mantra, next shloka is Mahavakya. So today's meditation was on this verse, Om meditation. Okay. Trayim tisro vrittihi Tribhuvanamato trinapi suran Trayim tisro vrittihi Tribhuvanamato trinapi suran Akaradyairvarnaihi Tribirabhidhadattirna vikruti Akaradyairvarnaihi Tribirabhidhadattirna vikruti Turiyam te dhama Dhvanibhiravarundhanamanubihi Turiyam te dhama Dhvanibhiravarundhanamanubihi Samastavyastam tvam Sharanadagunatyo-miti padam Samastavyastam tvam Sharanadagunatyo-miti padam Trayim tisro vrittihi Tribhirabhidhadattirna vikruti If you want to understand this verse, we have to study Mandukya Upanishad. More elaboration is there. Here it is just summarized. O giver of refuge. The word Om, divided into 3 letters, A, U, Ma, indicates you in the form of all triads. What are those triads? 3 Vedas, or the 3 states, or the 3 worlds, or the 3 gods, and all other triads. 3 Vedas again, Rig, Yajur, Sama. Three states: waking, dream, deep sleep. Three worlds: bhuhu, bhuvaha, swaha. Three gods: Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. While indicating your conditioned form, Om also indicates your unconditioned form through silence, which is called as Amatra, and this silence pervades all. This is known as the fourth state, Turiya, which is devoid of all triads. A-U-Ma represents all conditionings. Whatever you can think of, that is captured in A-U-Ma. The silence which is underneath that sound, that silence represents Turiya consciousness. Even when we are hearing the sound, that silence is there or not? It is very much there. In fact, only because there is silence, we can hear the sound. If there is already one sound, on top of that you cannot add another sound and hope to hear only that second sound. Just like that silence pervades the sound, consciousness pervades whole universe. So first verse spoke about Tvam Pada and said the essential nature of individual is consciousness. Second verse, the 26th verse spoke about Tat Pada. Essential nature of creation is consciousness. 27th verse is Mahavakya, which says that consciousness which is substratum of creation is the same consciousness which illumines the thoughts. Consciousness plus creation equals God with conditioning. Saguna, Sakara. Consciousness plus creation equals God. Consciousness plus individual conditioning equals Jeeva. Consciousness plus individual conditioning is Jeeva. Vedanta wants to point out the identity between Jeeva and Shiva. If you discuss only Shiva, it becomes Bhakti Darshana. If you discuss only Jeeva, it will become Yoga. But if you establish the identity between Jeeva and Shiva, that is Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta. This is the main essence of Advaita Vedanta. Whatever we might study, final culmination is Mahavakya. Do I consider myself as different from God? Or have I understood my oneness with God? That clarity of understanding itself is called as liberation. Now, this same point is told in the form of story also. Would you like to hear that story? Yes. About Mahavakya. Mahavakya. There are many stories. I'll share a few of them. What does Mahavakya say? Essential nature of God, essential nature of Shiva, essential nature of Lord is one and the same. There are some school of thoughts which say, you are different, God is different. Let us not name those schools of thoughts, because we have not studied them thoroughly. So just to label that this school says this, that school says that, it's not doing justice to that school. Just like anybody comes and says, Advaita Vedanta says this, you will not agree. So let us say, some school of thoughts, they say, God is different, Jiva is different. So there was one Pandita who was from Kashi, great scholar. He went to Kashmir. And there was one ashram where they would teach Advaita Vedanta. This scholar came from Kashi. He wanted to establish God is different, Individual is different. You are different and God is different. That he wanted to establish. But Kashi ke Vidwan, they are very famous. So everybody in Kashmir, they started feeling afraid. Who will end up debating with this person? He's such a scholarly person. He is going to prove that you are different, God is different. So they asked all scholars who wants to debate with him. Nobody came forward. One elderly person was there. He said, you call him, I will debate. So Sabha was arranged, people gathered all around. Two sides have to sit. Kashi Vidwan on one side, our elderly Kashmiri person on the other side. What is the Kashi Vidwan going to prove? God is different, Jiva is different. Individual is different, God is different. That is his point. Now this elderly person, he had already told few people to come during the debate. So one barber comes during the debate and tells this elderly person, oh, today is your shaving day, Mundanam day. Can I do it now? He says, I told you, today I have a debate. But before he says this, he addresses him as, Hey Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, I told you, today is my debate, I'm stuck over here, today I cannot come tomorrow. The barber says, you are such an elderly person, don't call me Bhagavan. I am just a barber. Don't call me Bhagavan. So he goes away. After some time, one potter comes. He says, today I had to keep some things at your home. You had ordered some utensils. I have brought all of them. Can I put it in your home right now? So this elderly person bows down to him and says, Hey Parameshwar, today is not the right day to do this. Come some other time, I'm busy with debate. So first one came, second one came, a third person comes, he's a dhobi. He says, sir, I have to take your clothes for washing today. So this person again bows down, the elderly person, he says, Hey Vishnu, today is not the right day, I'm busy with this debate. Please come some other day. First he called Brahman, second Hey Parameshwar, third Hey Vishnu. Now that dhobi says, please don't call me Vishnu. I'm an ordinary dhobi. I just wash my clothes. Just like the previous person said, please don't call me Brahman, please don't call me Parameshwar. Doesn't look good. Then the debate started. Before he could say anything, our Kashi Vidwan, this elderly person said, okay, just remind me what you are going to prove. Kashi Vidwan said, I want to prove you are different, God is different. He said, only this much? This our barber also knows. Our dhobi also knows. The potter also knows. I called him Parameshwar, he said, I am not Parameshwar, I am just an ordinary person. He said, what is that you are going to prove which is different from our own original understanding? He said, whenever you study something new, it has to correct that understanding which will otherwise not come. That is Mahavakya. Jiva is different, Ishvara is different. We don't need to study to understand that way. There is another instance in Mahabharata. This story most of you will be familiar with. Pandavas were living in the forest, and Draupadi, she had a boon. One vessel she had, until she eats, that vessel would continue to give food. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, he had a nature. His tendency was, whoever would come, he would invite them for food. Even in the forest, whoever came to meet him, he would say, please come and have some food. Draupadi said, fortunately, I have this vessel. Otherwise, where am I going to feed whoever comes at whatever time? So like this, different people used to come and somehow they would manage. One day, Duryodhana, he comes up with a plan. He tells Durvasa Rishi, I've heard that Yudhishthira is a very pious person. You should go and have some bhiksha at his place. He is living in the forest right now. Go with all your students. Those days they would not have 1 or 2 students, thousands of students. All brahmacharis would come. Please go and have some food with him. But just go after 3 o'clock. That was his guidance to Durvasa Rishi. Go after 3 o'clock. By this time, they would have eaten meal. Draupadi would have eaten. Then I want to see how they feed Durvasa Rishi. So Durvasa Rishi goes at 3 o'clock, and by that time Draupadi had eaten. Her patra, Akshaya Patra, was empty. Right at that time, Yudhishthira Maharaj comes and welcomes Durvasa Rishi, and he tells Durvasa Rishi, please come and have some food. Draupadi said, just now I ate. Once I eat, you know that there is no food which is going to come. He said, don't worry, Bhagavan Krishna is with us. You ask him, he will figure out something. So Draupadi calls on to Bhagavan Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna comes. And he tells Draupadi, just look at that container once again. Maybe there is one grain. He said, no, I only cleaned it. See, if somebody cleans something and you tell them, look again if there is some small thing, it's not a compliment. But you know that patra had 2 parts. One top, one bottom. In between, there was one small dhania kadana, coriander seed was there. Bhagavan Krishna says, see, I told you, bring me that. Bhagavan Krishna eats. Right when he eats, all the brahmacharis who had gone there to take a dip in the river, by the time that this was getting sorted out, Durvasa Muni had taken all of them to take a dip and come back. Suddenly all of them start chanting Mangalam. What we chant after eating food when you are full. Those mantras they start chanting. Durvasa Rishi says, how come you all are chanting this? We still have to go and have food. He says, no, we are full. And suddenly Durvasa Rishi realizes he also is full. He says, what happened? Then he knows. First he asks, is Bhagavan Krishna around? Whenever he is there, something he will do which will surprise all of us. This story all of you have heard, right? Yes. This story can be true only when essential nature of Shiva is essential nature of Jeeva. Feeding Ishvara, all Jivas become full. So essential nature of God is essential nature of Jeeva. This is Mahavakya actually, but said in a very poetic way. That feeding Bhagavan Krishna, all the brahmacharis and Durvasa Muni, all of them became full. This is true only when essential nature of Ishvara is the essential nature of Jeeva. Madhusudana Saraswati ji gives another beautiful example. He says, whenever you look in a mirror, original is the face, reflection is seen in the mirror. Now if you want to apply chandanam, where do you apply? On the original, not on the reflection. But if you apply on the original, you don't have to apply separately on the reflection. Like that he says, between God and Jeeva, who is original? Bhagavan. Jeeva is only a reflection. He says, you please Bhagavan, in that whatever you want to please Jivas, everything is taken care of. You don't have to separately do anything to get things in life. If at all you want to please somebody, please the Lord. Because He alone is the inner prompter of all jivas. All of that is Mahavakya, but said in a very poetic way. He says this Omkara, through its sound, it represents conditionings, and the silence, which is devoid of the sound, that represents consciousness. Twenty-eighth verse, 8 powerful names of the Lord are mentioned. Bhavasharvo Rudraha Pashupatirathogra Sahamahan Bhavasharvo Rudraha Pashupatirathogra Sahamahan Tatha Bhimeshana Vitiyadabhidhanashtakamidam Tatha Bhimeshana Vitiyadabhidhanashtakamidam Amushmin pratyekam Pravicharati deva shrutirapi Amushmin pratyekam Pravicharati deva shrutirapi Priyayasmai dhamne Pranihita namasyosmi bhavate Priyayasmai dhamne Pranihita namasyosmi bhavate Bhavasharvo Rudraha When we chant Shri Rudram, different names of the Lord are mentioned. A devotee chants these names with lot of faith. And it is said, each name, every name of Bhagavan is capable of giving us liberation. So we should not have the question, which amongst these 8 should I chant? I say, chant any one, that will only do good. But the names are very beautiful. O Divine Lord, Bhava. Bhava means one who is the creator of universe. One who has brought about this whole universe, that is Bhava. So we say Bhavaya Namaha. To Bhagavan Shiva, we offer our salutations. Next name is Sharva. Sharva means one who destroys. What does he destroy? He destroys the sorrow which is bothering the sadhaka. What did sadhaka do? He just took Bhagavan's name. With lot of faith, surrendered himself to the Lord. What Bhagavan did was, he took away his sorrow. Third name is Rudra. Rudra has an interesting meaning. Rudra means one who makes you cry. But in Tattva Bodha, it is said, the Devata of Ahankara is Rudra. Ahankara se Rudraha. The one who has strong ego, for that person, Bhagavan becomes Rudra. So Ahankara's Devata is Rudra. It doesn't make everybody cry. But the one who has strong Ahankara, that person, Bhagavan makes him cry. So third name is Rudra. Fourth name is Pashupati. Pashupati. Pashu actually means all jivas who are going in different directions. The one who is Lord of all the jivas, that is Bhagavan Shiva. Pashupati, sometimes it is referred to jivas, it is also referred to thoughts. Different thoughts going in different directions. The Lord of all the thoughts is Bhagavan Shiva. That's why Nandi Bhagavan, his eye is always on Bhagavan Shiva. That's why he has made Nandi Bhagavan as his vehicle. That mind which is turned towards the Lord becomes a vehicle to realize God. That mind which is constantly looking towards Pashupati, that mind becomes a vehicle for realizing God. Fifth one is Ugra. Ugra means the intense fire of knowledge. Intense fire of knowledge which bestows upon self-knowledge, that is Bhagavan Shiva. Ugra. Sixth one is Mahadeva. Mahadeva means God of all gods. Okay, this thing also we have to note. When we study Shiva Purana, Bhagavan Shiva will be Ishvara. All other deities will be Devatas. If we study Ramayana, Bhagavan Rama will be Ishvara. All other deities will be Devatas. Like that, every Purana will have one Ishvara, the same Ishvara Tattva. All others will become Devatas. So Mahadeva is God of all gods. Then Bhima. Bhime Ishanam is said, right? So Bhima and Ishanam, there are two words. Bhima means one who is very terrible for the sinners. That is one name of the Lord. And Ishana. Ishana means Lord of the universe. So these are the 8 names of Bhagavan Shiva. Amongst these, the Vedas and great sages talk about each of these names as a means to liberation. All 8 names are capable of taking us towards moksha. In this way, the one who is refuge of all, to my beloved Lord Shiva, I bow down by uniting my thoughts, words, and deeds. You say Namaskara, when it is done, it should be done in this way. When we bow down to Bhagavan, our thought should be of the Lord, our speech should be of Bhagavan, and the act of bowing down, the deed also should be of Bhagavan. It should represent that thought. All 3 should be united. Thought, word, and deed, that is called as Sashtanga Namaskara. 8 limbs of the body should touch the ground. One Mahatma Ji, he would say, nowadays Sashtanga has gone away. It has become Pai Lagu. Pai Lagu means we just bow down from far, like this. And because now bending is difficult, it has become Thai Lagu. Just like this you do. Formality, no? But real Namaskara is thought, word, and deed, that bhavana should come. You know, Namaskara is such a beautiful topic. Whoever has done it has been saved from so many calamities. This we have discussed in several other places. The best example for this is Yudhishthira. When the war begins, first thing Yudhishthira does is goes barefoot to do pranams to Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya, who are on the opposite side. And right when he does it, Bhishmacharya says, Vijayi Bhava. Duryodhana looks at him. He said, we brought everything here and you said, Vijayi Bhava. He said, I am helpless. And he also tells Yudhishthira, if you had not come, There was no way you could win the war. Because I am Ichha Mrityu. Bhishma says, only when I want I will die. And Dronacharya is your teacher. So there is nothing that you know that Dronacharya doesn't know. He says, how are you going to win over him? But because you are humble, that got you victory. This is the Phalashruti also of Vidya. Vidya dadati vinayam. How do we know that knowledge is working? We should start feeling we know less and less. We should start feeling that there is much more to learn. What we know is just a tiny dot. The opposite of it is Shvetaketu. Chandogya 6th chapter. He goes to his teacher's place and comes back. He tells his father, if you have any doubts, you ask. Stabdaha, stands still, doesn't bow down. He says, I have learnt everything. If you want, you ask something. Then to remove this abhimana, entire 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad is there. Father asks only one question. Do you know that knowing which everything becomes known? He says, say that again. Do you know that knowing which everything becomes known? He says, no, my teachers also did not teach me. Probably they didn't know it. Because I was such a good student, if they did not teach me, means they did not know it. Then father starts teaching. That is 6th chapter of Chandogya. So those were different names of Bhagavan. 29th verse is again salutations to Bhagavan's indescribable form. Namo Nidishthaya Priyadavadavisthaya cha namaha. Namo Nidishthaya Priyadavadavisthaya cha namaha. Namakshodisthaya Smarahara Mahisthaya cha namaha. Namo Varshisthaya Trinayanaya Visthaya cha namaha. Namas sarvasmai te tadidamati sarvaya cha namaha. Namo Nidishthaya Priyadava. Priyadava means lover of solitude. Bhagavan Shiva loves solitude. Salutations to you who are the nearest. Salutations to you who are the nearest. As the inner prompter, Bhagavan is Antaryami, is the closest of all. And you are also the farthest. As the Lord of the universe, you are farthest. Or in other words, for one who is ajnani, one who is having strong ego, for that person Bhagavan is very far. For the one who has mellowed down ego, for that person Bhagavan is very near. So near and far is not based on Bhagavan. It is based on our mindset. One child asks father, Father, how far or how big is that plane which is flying up there? Father says, you tell me, how big is it? He says, it is this small, it's this big. Then he takes that child to airport hangar. And he says, this plane is actually this big. He says, what decided the size of it? Closeness and farness. He says, in the same way, Bhagavan will appear as big, Bhagavan will appear as small, based on how close we are to God. To the one who is close, Bhagavan appears very big. One who is far, Bhagavan appears very small. His power appears small, his glory appears small. But one who is closer to God feels the grace of God. O destroyer of God of love, one who destroyed Kamadeva. Twice we saw that Leela. Salutations to you who are the subtlest and the greatest. Means you are the subtlest of all, at the same time you are greatest of all. O three-eyed one, salutations to you who are the oldest. Why is Bhagavan oldest? Because he is the substratum of creation. He is the Karana. Creation is old. So the cause has to be older than effect. So Bhagavan is very old. But at the same time, he is young. You are the oldest, you are the youngest. Why is he the youngest? Because he is illumining my thoughts right now. He is illumining thoughts right now. That is why he is the youngest. Oldest because he is cause of creation, origin of creation. Youngest because he is illumining the thoughts right now. And salutations to you who are all and who transcends all. At some point it looks like they give up all adjectives. They say, Bhagavan, enough of worshipping you as one by one part. You are all and you are beyond all. All conditionings is Bhagavan. And that consciousness which is beyond conditioning is Bhagavan's essential nature. To that we bow down to. 30th verse is again salutations. So now we are at good pace. 30th verse onwards, everything is Phalashruti and Namaskara. This tune is slightly different, but please chant loudly. You are chanting very good, but I think it can be a little louder. Bahula rajase vishvotpattau bhavaya namo namaha. Bahula rajase vishvotpattau bhavaya namo namaha. Prabalatamase tatsamhare haraya namo namaha. Prabalatamase tatsamhare haraya namo namaha. Janasukha krute sattvodriktau mrudaya namo namaha. Janasukha krute sattvodriktau mrudaya namo namaha. Janasukha krute sattvodriktau mrudaya namo namaha. Pramahasi pade nistraigunye Shivaya namo namaha. Pramahasi pade nistraigunye Shivaya namo namaha. प्रफुल्लरजसे विश्वोत्पत्तौ भवाय नमो नमः प्रबलतमसे तत्संहारे हराय नमो नमः जनसुखकृते सत्त्वोद्रिक्तौ मृडाय नमो नमः प्रमहसि पदे निस्त्रैगुण्ये शिवाय नमो नमः. Salutations to Lord Brahma, the one who has predominance of Rajas for the creation of this world. Salutations to Lord Rudra, the destroyer in whom there is predominance of Tamas. Salutations to Lord Vishnu, the one who has predominance of Sattva to give happiness to everyone. Salutations to you again and again, O Lord Shiva, who art beyond the three gunas and is the supreme effulgence free of Maya. So Bhagavan alone, with Rajoguna conditioning, appears as Lord Brahma. Nirguna Brahma, along with Maya conditioning, becomes Saguna. Within Maya, there are three gunas: Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Predominance of each guna gives rise to one role. Same Bhagavan with Rajoguna becomes Lord Brahma. Predominance of Tamoguna for destruction becomes Rudra. Bhagavan with predominance of Sattva to give joy to everybody becomes Bhagavan Vishnu. Salutations to all these three forms with conditioning, but also salutations to that form of yours which is devoid of all conditionings, that is your Nirguna Nirakara Rupa. That is Bhagavan Shiva. Now he says this stotram which I composed, it's a garland. Garland is made of flowers. He says this garland is made of words. Krusha parinati chetah kleshavashyam kvachedam. Krusha parinati chetah kleshavashyam kvachedam. क्वच तव गुणसीमो लंघिनी शश्वदृद्धिः क्वच तव गुणसीमो लंघिनी शश्वदृद्धिः इति चकितममन्दीकृत्य मां भक्तिराधात् इति चकितममन्दीकृत्य मां भक्तिराधात् वरद चरणयोस्ते वाक्यपुष्पोपहारम् वरद चरणयोस्ते वाक्यपुष्पोपहारम् कृशपरिणति चेतः क्लेशवश्यं क्वचेदं क्वच तव गुणसीमो लंघिनी शश्वदृद्धिः इति चकितममन्दीकृत्य मां भक्तिरादात् वरद चरणयोस्ते वाक्यपुष्पोपहारम्. O giver of boons, Bhagavan Shiva, where is this mind with its limited understanding and subject to all suffering? And where is your glory which is eternal and endowed with abundance of all virtues? Despite these apprehensions, your devotion has made me fearless and has prompted me to offer at your feet this garland of verbal flowers. Means he says, the main karta, main doer is not me. Who is the main doer here? He says, main doer is your bhakti. Composition has come through me, but one who brought about this composition is your devotion. He says, if I look at my mind, what I find is, it is so limited. You know, our mind's boundaries are defined by raga dveshas. Really speaking, this mind can think about so many things, but it will end up thinking only about those things where it has likes and dislikes. He says, with such kind of a mind, which is constantly subject to suffering, where am I going to sing your glories, which are infinite and beyond all boundaries? But in spite of this being there, he says, your bhakti is so powerful, it has pushed me into composing this Shiva Mahimnah Stotram. He says, this is a garland made up of words, and this garland, I offer it at your feet. The metaphor given here is of flowers. It is said, flower gives nectar to honeybees. Honeybees can come, take nectar from it. But ordinary people who are passing by, they also enjoy the fragrance of the flower. Like that, the Shiva Mahimnah Stotram will give lot of beautiful insights for the one who is seeking moksha. Just like that flower gave nectar to honeybees, like that one who is seeking moksha will get lot of insights to Shiva Mahimnah Stotram. All obstacles which are there on their path, they will get removed through the grace of Lord Shiva. And in general, the chanting is also melodious. Just like the fragrance, anybody can enjoy. Like that, anybody will appreciate the melody of Shiva Mahimnah Stotram. Like that, he says, I have done this composition. And from here onwards, most of it is Phalashruti. It's very self-explanatory, but tomorrow we have one more class. We will just go over the last verses, 32 to 43. Comfortably we'll complete. Okay. Many of you are worried more than me. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.